first things first, we're here at the Tour Championship, Epson Tour Championship. It's been a long year, kind of been fighting your way for some positions. You started this week outside the 80. Started this week outside of 80, but you're starting to play your way into it. What's that feel like, and how has this week and year been?
Yeah, I mean, it feels great. I mean, coming into the Epson halfway through the season, it kind of puts me at a disadvantage a little bit, and I didn't really know what to expect, competitive-wise. And but as I've kept playing, I noticed how competitive it is out here. And I mean, like, we haven't had 2 winners, I guess, back-to-back. So I mean, it's just so competitive. Anybody can win out here. So I've just kind of been trying to put my best game forward. And yeah, I mean, I'm glad to be kind of having like a hometown tournament this week. So I think it's really nice. And I played here a long time ago in junior golf, so it's kind of nice to be back at a familiar place and to be playing well as well.
Yeah, you talked about hometown. You obviously have some family out here with you. How's it been to have that support?
It's really nice. I mean, I feel like a lot of the Epson tournaments are more East Coast, so obviously I don't have a lot of family out there, so I don't really get a lot of that support, and it's kind of just me and my dad trucking along. But it's really nice to have my family come out from all over California, so it's nice to have them cheering, and sometimes I got to tell them to be quiet.
Kind of had your golf career's been followed pretty well up to this point. You've had some good milestones along the way. You've played in a few major championships. What does that do to prepare you for something like this?
I think it just prepares you in all aspects. I mean, especially on the golf course. I mean, with the nerves, the experience, or the lack of sometimes. And I mean, also just playing with the competition. Like I said, I mean, playing on the Epson Tour and the LPGA Tour, it's not that much different in my opinion. And it's a great way to step onto the tour. I mean, that's everyone's goal out here. So I mean, it's nice to have that experience and to kind of bring it out here. But at the same time, a lot of the girls out here, if not all of them, have had some kind of experience like that. So it's, we're kind of leveling the playing field a little bit there.
Yeah, you're playing really well this week, and you're playing your way into full status in the Epson Tour next year. What's your focus look like going into the final round to get this done and make sure you can get in that top 80?
Yeah, well, my first focus is to stay cool. It's so hot out here, but honestly, just to keep the ball rolling, putting really well and hitting it really well. So, just put the best score I can tomorrow, and then we'll see what happens, the rest of the season.
What will it mean to you to be able to finish out and know going home Sunday night you have a place to play, full status, all of next year as a professional golfer?
It would be nice. I mean, I haven't really thought about what my next step is, if I'm going to go to Q school or if I'm just going to play Epson next year. But, yeah, I mean, it would feel great either way knowing that I have full status somewhere.
Awesome. And for you, obviously, and for everyone out here, the goal is to get to the LPGA Tour.
Yes.
You mentioned it right there. You're not sure about Q school or what's next, but how far ahead do you typically plan that sort of thing, or is it just something you and your family make decision by decision?
Well, I've kind of learned just from talking with a lot of the Epson girls, LPGA girls, I got to plan ahead. I got to plan very far in advance. And honestly, the plan is to, make it to the tour, and I still have that opportunity even after this week. So obviously a good round here helps me Epson-wise, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, I would have to win to try and get into Q Series, and I got to go through that. So, I mean, it's a long process, but I mean, we've planned it and we talked about it, and LPGA is the goal, so we're gonna do everything we can to make that possible.
Yeah. Mike, anything else?
Yeah. Can you tell Chris, maybe just on brand for Epson Tour, is there one thing that really surprised you when you started playing out here that maybe you just weren't aware of previous?
I would say the thing that surprised me the most with the Epson Tour was, like I said, how competitive it is. I didn't really know what to expect coming out of college. Like you said, I've played major championships, I've played on the LPGA Tour, so I know what that competitive atmosphere is like, but out here it's a different type of competitive, I would say. I think everyone's hungry to get their card, and you can't really let up. Like, some tournaments you can play well all up until the final day, and you can kind of chill out and you still finish in the top 5, but here it's, like, you shoot even par, and now you go from second place to 10th. So it's like, it's just a dog-eat-dog world out here. It's very difficult, and that's something that I wouldn't say I didn't expect, but I was very surprised by.
Kind of gives you a different respect for the people that have been out
100%.
here grinding for years.
100%. I mean, it's definitely a community out here. I think everyone kind of takes people under their wing, but at the same time, we're still battling each other every round, every shot. So it's I have a lot of respect for the girls out here, and whether they've been on tour or they've just been on Epson, I mean, it's a grind every day, so it's definitely something respectable.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll add to that is, what does it say to the quality of tournaments, players, competition, just all of it, that you see so many girls bounce back and forth and hold status on both tours?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been one to just be very observant about that. I mean, I like to talk to the girls when I'm playing the rounds or even in practice rounds. I like to branch out a little bit. Like, I have a bunch of rookie friends, but I try and branch out and, just meet some of the vets and, pick their ear on what the life is like. I mean, that also surprised me. Like, sometimes when you grow up and you have a big dream of being on the tour, you think it's sunshines and rainbows, and sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And but yeah, these girls, they have a deeper understanding of what it's like to be out here day in, day out, and bouncing back and forth from LPGA to Epson. I mean, that can't be an easy feat, but I mean, they understand how hard it is, and there's not, like I said, there's not much difference between the Epson and LPGA Tour competitive wise, for sure.